So today I want to talk about a marathon strategy, which is about running slower first, which is kind of alien to me. So I've run several marathons, 15 in total now, and I haven't tried this technique before. So if you're a marathon runner, this could be interesting to you. So keep on watching, keep on listening. Welcome back to consecutive day 1837 of a diary of a Runpreneur. And today's topic is all about marathon strategies, and in particular, one that I've never tried before, but I'm certainly will be trying it the next time I compete, which is running slower first, which is kind of alien to me. But anyway, before we get into that, don't forget that this vlog is part of a fundraiser of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, a distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style. And the more people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. So back to the topic at hand, marathon strategies. And you know, generally speaking, there's kind of three different marathon strategies, overarching ones anyway. And one is you go out, you have a target pace in mind, okay? So you've got a target time in mind. One option is to go out a little bit quicker than your target time to build up a buffer, amount of buffer time. So if you know what your average pace needs to be when you cross the line, if your average pace is quicker than that, then you have a buffer that you can kind of work with until you get to the end. And then it's a case of hanging on dearly for your life when you inevitably tire to hit your target time. The other option is run at a consistent pace throughout the whole event. Sounds simple in principle, but not sure, you know, how some people do it really well. Some people just have that pace, that consistent pace being slightly too quick for what they should be doing anyway in terms of their fitness levels, and regardless of trying to maintain a steady pace throughout, inevitably they nosedive at the end. And the final one is start slower and speed up throughout the marathon. So negative splits, that's called. Now, I've done 15 ultra marathons or marathons over the years now, and I'm kind of aiming to do 3 a year. I've done 3 this year. I've done 2 this year so far. Manchester Marathon, Edinburgh Marathon, and I'm looking at what autumn event to do in the autumn. So I'll start planning for that over the next couple of weeks. But anyway, our last 3 marathons I've done, which were Loch Ness Marathon last autumn, and I've done 2 spring marathons this year, Manchester and Edinburgh. All 3 have been relatively underwhelming for me, considering the marathon before that, I ran a PB at sub 3 hours 25, so my PB is 3 hours 24 minutes and 48 seconds. The last 3 marathons I've run, for varying reasons, have been underwhelming. I've done one in Loch Ness. I think I ran 3 hours 37 or 38 maybe. In Manchester I ran 3 hours 47, and then in Edinburgh I ran 3 hours 37. So not too bad, but quite well for my PB. And there's been extenuating circumstances for those performances as well. First and foremost, take out Loch Ness Marathon, which was last autumn, where I had a decent training plan, just hammered my feet from a blistering perspective, so that greatly hindered that performance. But Manchester and Edinburgh were affected from a skiing injury I had in February, so I couldn't do a proper training regime. I was running every day, but a lot of that training block was recovery running, and ultimately cardiovascular fitness level wasn't where it needs to be. Inevitably the performances were poor. Well, not poor, but not where they should be. And but always my strategy has always generally been go out faster than my target time and then try and hang on. And I've come to the conclusion now that certainly over the last 3 ones where I've hit the wall on all 3 occasions, that maybe that's not the best strategy for me. All right, it's only taken me, but I've had some performances where I've done that and I've performed really well. But I've had performances where I've tried that and hit the wall and it's been pretty devastating. So I was reading an article online, for a runner's article, and it was about avoiding the wall. And one concept that so many people don't do, because it's so hard to do, is to start slow and trust that starting slow will leave you with more in the tank for the latter stages where you're not going to nosedive and you're actually going to finish relatively strongly. Now, it makes sense in principle, but the fear that a lot of marathon runners have, myself included, is no matter what strategy you have, you're going to tire towards the end. And although now that might be relatively true, there's tiring at different levels. You know, when you hit the wall, you literally fall off a cliff. If you tired through kind of endurance fatigue, then that's very different. You're going to taper off, but at a much slower rate. So the next marathon, I'm going to try this strategy in autumn, which is going to be starting slower. So I'll be running kind of 10 to 15 seconds per kilometre slower for the first, 3 to 4 miles generally, and then I'll then increase the pace to try and be about where it needs to be, and then after 10k I'll possibly increase it by about 5 seconds per kilometre then. And the reason why this is a strategy, some people say do it in 3/3. So start slow for the first third, be quicker for the second third, and then try and be consistent for the final third. That could be a way of doing it. Or start slow for the first third of the marathon, be on pace for the second third, and then try and be in negative splits for the final third. I think that one's probably pushing the boundaries a little bit. But the concept behind it is that when you hit the wall, you run out of energy. And even though you're fueling correctly using energy gels, energy blocks, sweets, whatever you're using, if you're running at too fast a pace early on, you're using a lot of that energy that you're trying to put into your body as you use it. The idea is if you run slower, you'll get your heart rate lower. You'll be actually using fat stores as an energy source for a little while, where you'll let your kind of carbohydrate levels that you'll be taking from your gels and kind of energy blocks, etc., build up your fuel tank. If you go out too quick, your fuel tank doesn't get the chance to build up sufficiently. It's always going down, or it's going down quite quickly. And when it gets down to a stage where you're using it quicker than you're replenishing it, the wall appears. Now, the argument from this new strategy is if you're burning fat for the first 5k or 3 to 4 miles, then you're going to have a good amount of storage of carbohydrate in your system that is fuller than it would usually be if you ran quicker at the beginning. And then the argument is that you've got a fuller tank, so the tank's not going to run out because you'll keep replenishing it as per your typical fueling plan, but it's not going to run out because you've sufficiently boosted it at the beginning of the race. So you should be able to certainly finish where you're actually running in a normal running form rather than the dreaded wall shuffle. Easier said than done, but it's a concept that makes sense to me, and certainly one I'll be trying at the next marathon. So the learnings from my diary today are that if marathons aren't going to plan, there can be a number of things that kind of come into play: injuries, training plans, fueling. But one of the key ones is race strategy. And what I think is that I've been using the wrong race strategy for the past few marathons, hence I've had underwhelming results. So I could be the definition of insanity and just doing the same strategy over and over again expecting a different outcome, or I could change it. So I'm going to change it, and I'm going to change it in a way where I'm going to try to ensure that I do not hit that wall, a kind of 32 kilometres, a dreaded 20-mile marker where so many people hit that wall. I'm going to try and come through that, and if I hit it, maybe I hit it in the last 5k, which is not going to be as devastating as hitting it with 8 miles to go or 6 miles to go. If it's 3 miles to go, I might just be able to hang on in there. Hanging on there for 10k at the end of a marathon is really, really tough. So yeah, I'm going to try and start slower. I'm going to try for the first 3 to 4 miles, be 10 to 15 seconds per kilometre slower. And I'm going to try and really boost my carbohydrate levels through my fueling strategy that hopefully gives my fuel tank a welcome boost prior to then getting into the race and actually ensuring that it actually lasts rather than runs out too quickly too soon. So that's it from me. Any questions or comments on this, drop your line, anything relevant I'll respond to. Do remember though, if you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, a distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style, do give us a subscribe, share, like and comment. More people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is what I do every single day. Thank you as always, stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.